There was no video last week because I forgot. But how does that work? I mean, how can I be so certain that I'm never going to get something one minute and the next forget that I ever even knew it in the first place? Well, first we need to talk about where your memories are stored in the brain. I mean, I dissected a sheep's brain yesterday and I didn't see its little memories of grazing in the fields in there. I mean, I looked. Well, it turns out you're asking the wrong question. Kind of. There isn't one kind of memory. There are several kinds of memory. One we think of first is episodic memory, which is remembering events that took place. Another type of memory you're probably familiar with is semantic memory, which is what I'm using right now to give you these facts. Another type of memory that we didn't really realize was separate until an experiment by Brenda Milner, we'll get back to that later, is what we usually call muscle memory, which allows you to remember how to do certain tasks without needing to think about it. Now in that experiment I just told you about, Brenda Milner had a subject called HM. And while HM had anterograde amnesia, which meant that he couldn't form new memories. HM had a piece of paper with a star drawn on it in front of him with two mirrors so that he could not see the paper or his hand unless he was looking in the mirrors to see it. His job was to trace inside the lines of the star as best as he could. And like most people, he failed miserably at this. But every day he went up and did it again and had no recollection of doing so the day before. But yet, he still got better, even though he didn't remember ever doing it. But where were those memories stored? Well, in the case of HM, we don't really know where muscle memory is stored, but we do know about episodic memory. Episodic memory is mostly centered in your hippocampus. But how? How do your memories get formed? And how do they seemingly disappear? Well, for the first question, we turn to Eric Kandel. Eric Kandel performed an experiment on Aplysia sea slugs, which are incredibly simple sea slugs with a very, very simple brain. The brain is one of the simplest brains we know of, with some of the largest neurons that we know of. These large neurons and simple brains were very important. Eric Kandel removed two neurons and connected them. One for sensing and one for the memory. He continually stimulated one of them and watched what would happen to the other one. And when he stimulated one of them and it affected the other one, proteins called messenger RNA ran down the neuron and told it to grow more connections. If neurons really are new connections, strong connections, then how do they seemingly disappear? Well, they don't. The best theory on why this happens is called interference theory, which states that they don't disappear. They just get covered up with new ones that are just stronger. Since we didn't use them enough and they are not as strong as other memories around it, it's a lot more difficult to get those ones to fire over the other ones that are just stronger, that we remember more. Thank you guys for liking, commenting, subscribing. Make sure you stick around, check out all my other videos, and next week, come back for the next one. See ya!